Kusuo is a 16-year-old boy born with incredible psychic powers. We're talking telepathy, telekinesis, and a whole lot more. Now, most people would think having powers like that is amazing. You could become rich, famous, basically unstoppable. But for Kusuo, it's the exact opposite. His powers actually make everyday life harder. Like when he tries to eat, his strength bends the spoon. If he casually touches a wall, it can shatter into pieces. Not exactly convenient. His parents have always known about his abilities, but instead of treating him differently, they raised him like a normal kid. They gave him a proper education and a regular life because they didn't want him to feel isolated or grow to hate humanity. And because of that upbringing, Kusuo himself wants the same thing, a normal life. He doesn't want anyone to find out about his powers because deep down he knows if people start treating him differently, things could go wrong. So his one goal is simple: keep his powers a secret and live peacefully like a normal person. Kusuo was born with pink hair, and to keep his powers under control, he wears two antenna-like devices on his head. If he ever removes them, his powers would increase so much he could accidentally destroy an entire city like Tokyo. To stay hidden, Kusuo even uses hypnosis on people around him, so no one questions his pink hair or those strange antennas. One day, the sports teacher enters the class and makes an announcement. The school festival is coming up, but there's a problem. For the past few years, every festival has ended in chaos, and if anything goes wrong this time, the school will cancel festivals forever. All the students are disappointed, but Kusuo, he actually doesn't care about the festival itself. Every year, he skips it and enjoys his time alone. But this time, it's different. If the festival gets canceled, he'll lose that peaceful alone time forever. So for once, he decides to make sure nothing goes wrong. One student suggests they should stay so busy during the festival that no one gets the chance to cause trouble. Another student comes up with an idea: a rock exhibition. Everyone will bring a unique rock, and the most special one wins. Since no one has a better idea, everyone agrees. Even Kusuo decides to participate this year, just to make sure everything goes smoothly. Later, a student named Nendo approaches Kusuo. He asks him to go find a rock for the exhibition, but Kusuo refuses. Nendo is, well, not the smartest guy. In fact, his mind is completely empty, and that's exactly what makes him so annoying for Kusuo. You see, Kusuo can read the thoughts of anyone within a 200-meter radius, but with Nendo, there's nothing to read, which means Kusuo can't even tell when Nendo is nearby. Kusuo tells him to stop following him, but Nendo just doesn't listen. Then another student, Kaido, takes both of them to the terrace. He hands them some black letters and starts talking seriously. He claims these are notes from a secret organization called the Dark Reunion, a group planning to destroy the city. According to him, he's been secretly working to stop them, but now they've discovered his identity. He even says they want to kill him and use his powers to create a new world, and somehow they already know who he really is. Kusuo immediately realizes what's going on. Kaido is suffering from something like middle school syndrome, where someone believes they have special powers and a secret mission, but Nendo has no idea. He gets completely serious and asks Kaido about his real identity. Kaido responds dramatically, saying Kaido is just a fake name he uses at school. His real name is Jet Blackwings. Kusuo, trying to stay calm, says, "I'm glad you're saving the world, but why are you telling me all this?" Kaido replies, "Because you're just like me. You stay distant from others, which means you must also be fighting against Dark Reunion." He adds that he doesn't fully understand the note, but he believes the attack will happen during the school festival. Kusuo doesn't want anything ruining the festival, so he decides to keep the note, just in case someone is trying to use Kaido to cause trouble. The next day, all the students bring their rocks for the exhibition, and Kusuo shows up with one too. Meanwhile, the girls in class are trying to convince Kokomi, the most beautiful girl in school, to enter the beauty contest. Now, Kokomi already knows she's the prettiest, but she still pretends to refuse. Why? Because the more people beg her to join, the more popular she becomes. Everyone in school is obsessed with her, but Kusuo, he couldn't care less. This reminds him of the first time they met during summer. Kokomi immediately tried talking to him because she was already interested in him, but Kusuo ignored her and walked away. Kokomi was shocked. No one had ever ignored her like that before. She assumed he was just too shy, so she approached him again. But once again, Kusuo paid her no attention. At this point, she couldn't let it go, so Kusuo simply teleports away to escape her. Back in the present, Kusuo heads to the school festival. He starts thinking. He can usually see the future using his powers, but for some reason, he can't see what's going to happen at the festival. That makes him uneasy. Maybe something big is about to happen. At the same time, Kokomi is secretly following him. In her mind, she's planning everything. She wants to use the festival to get alone time with Kusuo, make him fall for her, and eventually get him to confess his love. What she doesn't realize is, Kusuo Kusuo already knows all of this. He just pretends like he doesn't. Soon the rock exhibition begins. Students start showing off their rocks. One student, Kuboyasu, has a rock covered in blood, but somehow no one pays attention. In reality, Kuboyasu is a transfer student. At his old school, he used to be a violent gang leader, beating up other students, but for some reason, he left all that behind and transferred here. Kusuo had once seen him attacking someone, so he quietly asks him, "You showed everyone a blood-covered rock, and no one reacted. Don't you think that's strange?" Even though Kusuo knows the truth, he doesn't reveal it. Instead, he says he has no problem with him. Kuboyasu feels relieved. He's happy that no one knows about his past. But Kusuo starts getting a bad feeling. He thought this year's festival would go smoothly. But now something feels off, and on top of that, Kokomi is still constantly watching him. Meanwhile, Kokomi is overthinking things. She remembers that a few days ago she left him an invitation to go to a haunted house together, but Kusuo hasn't responded yet. She starts wondering, maybe he's just taking time to write the perfect reply. Kusuo wants to teleport away again, but because Kokomi keeps following him, and he needs to make sure nothing goes wrong at the festival, he's forced to stay. Just as Kokomi is about to talk to him, a group of students shows up. They call themselves her fan club. They insist that she must enter the beauty contest, because if the most beautiful girl doesn't participate, it'll ruin the whole event. Kokomi doesn't want to leave Kusuo, but eventually she has no choice and goes with them. Kusuo then hears about a magician performing at the festival, so he decides to check it out. The magician announces his trick. He'll tie himself up, lock himself inside a box, and escape before the box is opened. Kusuo immediately gets concerned. If something goes wrong, it could ruin the entire festival, so he stays to watch carefully. The magician is tied up and locked inside the box. After 3 minutes, his assistant prepares to stab swords into the box to prove he's already escaped. But Kusuo senses something's wrong. He believes the magician is still inside, so he teleports into the box to save him. But the magician isn't there. At that exact moment, the assistant starts stabbing swords into the box. And now, Kusuo is stuck inside. For the next 10 minutes, he can't even teleport out. Luckily, he dodges every single sword, but things keep getting worse. The box is lifted by a crane, dropped, and then set on fire. Even then, Kusuo manages to survive everything. And just when they're about to crush the box with a road roller, he finally teleports out at the last second. Right after that, the magician appears in front of everyone, safe and successful. The crowd cheers, completely unaware of what Kusuo just went through. The story continues during the school festival, and things are getting even more chaotic. Even though Kokomi is clearly the most beautiful girl in school, instead of competing in the beauty contest, the students make her a judge. But honestly, she doesn't care about judging at all. So she comes up with a plan. With Hiro's help, she announces a 10-kilometer race, and the winner gets to spend 10 minutes with her. She's basically doing all this just to get closer to Kusuo. But there's one problem. Kusuo doesn't even join the race. He just can't understand why everyone is going crazy over someone just to get a chance to look at her. The race begins, and all the students start running like their lives depend on it. Meanwhile, Kusuo turns invisible and flies above them, just keeping an eye out to make sure nothing goes wrong. Hiro is running like a maniac, even ignoring traffic lights. So to prevent an accident, Kusuo secretly changes the signal to green. But then, Nendo somehow shows up running backward and catches up to Hiro. No one understands how that's even possible. Still, Hiro manages to distract him and ends up winning the race, but he's completely exhausted afterward. So instead of him, Kokomi goes into the haunted house with Kusuo. Kokomi's plan is simple. She'll pretend to be scared, so Kusuo comes closer to protect her. But of course, Nendo ruins everything by showing up again. Even the guy who was supposed to scare them gets scared of Nendo and faints. After that, Nendo draws fake scars on Kusuo's face to make him look scary. Kusuo gets annoyed and goes to the bathroom to wash it off. But here's where things go wrong. Nendo accidentally puts on Kusuo's glasses, and the moment Kusuo looks at him with his real eyes, Nendo instantly turns into stone. Kusuo wears those glasses to suppress his powers. Without them, his gaze can literally turn people into stone. Now he has a big problem. He can't fix Nendo for the next 24 hours, so he places Nendo in the classroom and makes it look like he's just a statue for the rock exhibition. Smooth cover, but still risky. Meanwhile, Kusuo calls his mom to bring him another pair of glasses, but she just makes an excuse and hangs up. Not helpful at all. At the same time, Kaido gets dragged into a weird situation. A group of students pretending to be members of the Dark Reunion confront him. Their leader calls himself Moonlight Butterfly and starts acting all serious. Kaido being, well, Kaido, fully believes everything. He starts talking about his fake past like it's real, saying he used to be a powerful warrior and even stole important artifacts. But in reality, all of this is just a prank set up by their classmates. And yes, Kokomi is behind it. She just wants to keep Kaido busy so she can spend more time with Kusuo. On the other side, Kuboyasu receives a letter from his old gang enemies. They challenge him to a fight and show up at the school. But since Kuboyasu has completely changed his look, they don't even recognize him at first. When they finally realize who he is, things get intense. Kobayasu sends Kaido away using an excuse about stopping the Dark Reunion, and then decides to deal with his enemies himself. And just like that, while Kusuo is trying to keep everything calm and normal, chaos is happening everywhere. A fake secret organization, a dangerous gang fight, a stone statue in the classroom, and a love-obsessed girl chasing him non-stop. For someone who just wants a peaceful life, Kusuo seriously can't catch a break. Because Kusuo doesn't have his glasses, anyone he looks at instantly turns into stone. Soon, the classroom is filled with stone statues, but without his glasses, Kusuo can also see something new, an underground tunnel beneath the stage. That's when he realizes this is how the magician escaped from the box earlier. Not wanting to turn anyone else into stone, Kusuo quickly hides inside a storage room. Nearby, Kobayasu is busy fighting off his old gang enemies. Kusuo steps in quietly, takes Kobayasu's glasses, and helps him deal with the situation, making sure the enemies are completely taken down so the festival doesn't get ruined. Kobayasu is super grateful and even hugs him to say thanks. Meanwhile, Kusuo secretly swaps the position of his own glasses with the ones at home, and finally gets his original glasses back. Crisis temporarily solved. Just then, Kokomi shows up and asks Kusuo to join her in a couple's game, but Kusuo immediately refuses. He knows that if he gets involved with her, he'll become the center of attention, and there goes his peaceful life. Suddenly, Kokomi's fan club shows up and starts blaming Kusuo, thinking he's been following her around. But in reality, this was all part of Kokomi's plan. She pretends to protect Kusuo and pulls him into the storage room. And right after they enter, someone locks the door from outside using glue. They're trapped. Kokomi starts acting nervous on the outside, but inside her mind, she's celebrating. She reveals her entire plan, how she used her fan club, created a fake Dark Reunion, made Hiro run himself to exhaustion, and even sent a letter to Kobayasu to distract him. All of it, just to be alone with Kusuo. Now with bulletproof windows and a locked door, no one can interrupt them. Of course, Kusuo hears all of this through telepathy. He could easily break out, but if he uses his powers in front of her, his secret will be exposed. At that moment, Kusuo senses something worse. Those gangsters are back, this time with even more people, ready to attack Kobayasu. Kusuo realizes he has only one option. He can send them back in time, but doing that will drain almost all of his powers. Still, he has no choice. If he doesn't stop them, the entire festival could be ruined forever. So, just as the gang is about to attack, Kusuo teleports them all back to the past. Everyone is shocked, but they assume it's just part of the magician's trick and move on. However, using that much power leaves Kusuo completely drained. He collapses. Kokomi notices the strange antennas on his head and curiously removes them. Big mistake. Without those limiters, Kusuo's power explodes. A massive energy surge shuts down satellites across the Earth, and the entire storage room gets lifted into the upper atmosphere. Kusuo regains consciousness, but now they're in freezing temperatures. Ice starts forming everywhere. Kokomi passes out from the cold. Kusuo quickly puts his antennas back on, restoring balance and bringing the satellites back online. He wants to bring the storage room back down, but there's a risk. If he drops it in the wrong place, people could die. Then suddenly, he hears Kaido's voice. After defeating the fake Dark Reunion, Kaido is dramatically chanting like he's saving the world. Kusuo uses his voice as a guide and safely brings the storage room back to Earth, but there's still one problem. He's too weak to break the bulletproof glass. The cold is getting worse, and Kusuo has no idea how to save them. Then he remembers the underground tunnel, the same one the magician used. Inside the storage room, there's a hidden path connected to that tunnel. Using it, Kusuo and Kokomi finally escape. The next day, Kusuo resets everything. He erases everyone's memories and restores the school festival like nothing ever happened. No chaos, no disasters, just a normal day, exactly how he likes it. But let's be real, with Kusuo's life, normal never lasts for long. So if you enjoyed this recap, don't miss the next part.